Welcome, bienvenido. If you haven't already put your contact information on the marshstream.org/CJs FitnesSing, there's a contact form that I can go and find you and stay in contact with you in between sessions. And I'll start giving out a newsletter and giving you little tidbits of information. So Susan, if you haven't already, please do put your information there if you'd like to be a part of that. So we're gonna get our bodies moving just a little bit because this is FitnesSing and we haven't for the last 2 weeks moved our bodies. So we're gonna do a little bit of movement. Join in as you see fit, as is comfortable. Always do what you can do. Don't feel like we're not competing with one another. We're just here to work our own bodies. I see some altos and sopranos, second sopranos coming through. All right, so I have on my little feet warmers because my feet are cold in the house. So we're gonna have our feet shoulder width apart. And we're just gonna do some shoulder rolls first. Shoulder rolls. Fix my camera here. Shoulder rolls. And once you've done about 6 of them, you're gonna go in the opposite direction. And then we're gonna take some deep breaths. And when we take that deep breath, we're just gonna bend our knees down just a little bit. So bend, and then inhale, arms coming up to the sky, and exhale, arms going back down to the side. Inhale through the nose, and out through the mouth. One more time, inhale through the nose, and out through the mouth. Let's do some arm circles. So really feeling that your muscles are extended. Your hands are trying to touch the other sides of the walls. And we're gonna circle in one direction. Give me 10. And then we're gonna circle in the other direction in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, that should make your shoulders start to feel like, ooh, yeah, okay, getting fired up a little bit. All right, and now we are going to just lift our arms up to the sky, straight up like by our ears, right? So arms by your ears and down, arms by your ears and down. Now we're gonna do it double time. 1, 2, 3, 10 of them. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, let's take a deep breath again. Our feet are shoulder width apart again, and this time breathe out slowly. All right, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. All right, do what you can. If you are doing this workout in a seated position, I'm going to have you, if you can see me, I'm going to sit on my couch here, and you're going to do your jumping jacks like this. So sitting, you're bringing one leg out to the side and coming up, right? So that's your jumping jack. If you're standing and you want to avoid a lot of pressure on the knees, then you're going to do the same thing from a standing position. Arms up while one foot goes to the side, arm up, foot goes to the side. Or the other option is this, just a regular jumping jack. And if you want to take it up one more notch, then you're going to lift your knee this way for your jumping jack. All right, we're going to do 20, and we're going to do it 3 times in a row. If you would like to do 10, if that's your number, go for 10 and give me all you got when you do it. Here we go. Oh, let me admit these other people. All right, here we go. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Remember, do what you can do. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Take a rest. Thank yourself for doing that. Thank your body for engaging. And now we're going to go to our second set. I'm going to ramp it up. I'm going to do my legs up, right? One knee up each time. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You look good. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Very good. Your heart rate should be spiking up just a bit. That's a good thing. All right. Blood is flowing. The voice loves blood flow. All right. I see somebody getting hyped over there. Paul is like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm with you. All right, last set. Here we go. Ready? And 1, 2, 3. If you did 10, push yourself to 12. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I'm gonna do 2 more for good measure. 22. Nice work, everybody. Way to go. All right. So we have awakened every fiber in our body now. And we're going to get our breath back under us. So you can rest this way as a way to open up the lungs and get your breath to slow down. You can do this if you like. All right. So I am going to share my screen because as we do this exercise of finding your range, I want you to be able to look at a couple of things. The first thing I won't keep up, but I want to show you first. So let's see. And I will send these to everyone who's on the list, on the contact form. I will send this to you so you can have it for your own records. So if we look at just kind of general ranges, when we talk about the larynx, we talk about an assigned female larynx or an assigned male larynx. The general range is, so a soprano could sing from B3. So if you know piano and you know where middle C is C4. That's where the 4th octave on the piano begins. So the B below that is B3. So soprano range, B3 to E6. Remember, this is general. It's not expected that every soprano is going to sing this specifically, but in general. And then when it says corresponding tessitura, very fancy word that means where you sing the most, and it's like the most comfortable. So for a soprano, the most comfortable range is going to be F4 to G5. So it says. I feel like it's more like, for me, it's like, I don't know, C5 to maybe A flat. No, B flat 5. B flat 5. That's what's really comfortable for me. And then the mezzo soprano goes from G3. So watch how it drops. It goes from B3 with the soprano, then it drops down. The mezzo soprano has a G3 on the lower end. Then it goes up to a B5. So if you heard that G3 is here, and then B5 is here. So it's a little bit more than 2 octaves. The contralto drops down another third, a minor third here to the E3. And then notice how the top range changes to a G5. So the biggest change that you will notice in the soprano, in the assigned female larynx, is you have an E6 as the top note, so to speak, for the soprano. Then it drops down a 4th to a B5. Then it drops down to a G5. If we're just thinking about the 3 main voice types in the assigned female larynx. Then we go to the assigned male larynx and we have a countertenor, which is the highest assigned male voice type. And so there's G3. So this G3, notice how this is going to overlap overlap the mezzo soprano range. So countertenor is G3, mezzo soprano is G3 to A5, which actually goes like just under the mezzo soprano. So you can think of The countertenor being like a male larynx singing in the mezzo soprano range. Baritone, there is something called a baritone. I just want to bring your attention to it. And it's kind of a cross between a tenor and a baritone. But the baritone, oh, I didn't do tenor. Tenor is A2 to C5. So a C5 being the C above middle C. Baritone, and let's look at the drop too as we're observing this. So it goes G3 for the countertenor. This is on the lower end. Then the A2. That is a significant difference. G3 down to A2. That's a seventh there. A big difference in the countertenor voice and the tenor voice. Then baritone drops down another whole step. So not super far on the low end between the tenor and the baritone. And then we get a bass baritone, E flat 2. And you can just, so you see this, I want you to have this in your mind, and we're going to come back to it, but I want you to see what the ranges, what the possibilities are. And remember, it is a generalization. Then we're going to go to another thing. And this is what I want. If you are, let's see. Oops, not that one, not that one. Where is it? Let's see. It's right here. Okay, here we go. So I'm really wanting to send you this while we work. So if you're already on there, on the list, I'm going to send this right away. So see, this is a piano keyboard representation, and it shows you the octaves. So those first couple of notes, or first 3 notes on the piano keyboard are in the 0 octave, and we begin the formal numbering at C1. So this C2 range up to probably the C6 range is where we might be working today. There aren't a lot of people who sing down here in the first octave, and very few people who sing in that last octave. And then the majority probably lying somewhere between the middle of C2 and the middle of C5, those ranges or those octaves. So as we go through this exercise, when I send this out, you can open it up. It is a Word document, and you can just kind of keep track of where you are, and you can even go in and type something if you want to say, my lowest note was, so for instance, this would be, if this were my lowest note, I would say C2. Oh, and if you don't know the notes on the piano, let me just put that here. So it goes from C1, it would go C1, D1, E1, F1, G1, A1, B1, and then we begin C2, D2, and so forth. And as we go through, we're going to go through, and I will always keep you, apprised of where we are. I will also show you on a keyboard that will show you the note that I'm playing to help you keep track of where you are with your voice. All right, so I will go ahead and mail that to the list right now. Thank you for being so patient and listening and all of that. All right, so keyboard. And while I'm emailing it, could you please play the tones as you mention them? I will include that when we work. Thank you. And then, is tessitura a speaking voice? Great question. Tessitura refers to your singing range. So you have a range that includes your lowest note that you can comfortably sing and your highest note that you can comfortably sing. Then somewhere in there is a range that is going to be most comfortable, that, if you said, I would like to put every song right here in this place in my voice, that's your tessitura. And so like in the opera world, we look at tessitura. If I'm looking at an aria, I look at where do the majority of the notes lie to see if it lines up with my tessitura, my range. That's how I pick songs and also pick keys. So you can use this information to help you choose the right key of a song as well. All right, so we have some great, thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to the form right now and emailing this. Whoops. Okay, let me go to the other place. Oh, and while I'm doing this, if you have some ideas about songs that you would like to work on, please put them in the chat. Great, great. I'm seeing some new names here. All right. And then I can send out another blast in a day or so if some more people want to sign up. So this email will come from CJs FitnesSing at gmail.com. Ranges tessitura form. All right. And oh my goodness. Why are there so many files? Okay, maybe I should do it this way. Huh. Oh, maybe it's in documents. My goodness, my goodness. Here we go. Is this it? Yes. All right. I am dragging it into the email and sending it. So there's no text in the email. It's just the attachment. And to double check. Yes. All right. Very good. So it should get to your inbox any second now. All right. So we are going to start. And if you can look at my screen here, I think this is probably the most helpful. So you see this keyboard here, it numbers the octaves. So we're going to start with C4. So you can hear that. Oh, that's so funny. That's not actually a C4 on my keyboard. Did I push something? Let's see. Oh, that's crazy. Okay, I don't know why my MIDI keyboard is reading thusly. It is an octave higher than it should be. Or an octave lower. So you see this dot here, and it says C3. This is actually C4. So I'll just remind us that the number we are looking at is one less than it's supposed to be. I don't know why. I apologize. So we're starting with this note. I want you to sing on an oo or an ah, whichever feels most comfortable. So here's the first pitch. Ooh. And what you're trying to feel is this comfortable? Can I sing it? And, if I were to get a little bit louder, would I still be comfortable? If I got a little softer, can I still maintain the pitch? All right, so that's C4, even though it says C3, it's C4. Now we're going down. This is B3. And let me double check. I don't want to miss anything here because I can't see my screen at the same time. Oh, I can't see the chat so if you have a question, let me see if I can do it this way. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now I can keep track of any feedback that you're giving me. When it gets too low, what you're going to feel is you're going to feel like grinding. It's going to feel tight. It might start to lose its brilliance, or the core tone kind of goes away, gets diffused, but it's not going to feel comfortable. Those are the things you want to pay special attention to, the feeling of discomfort, especially if it continues for the next half steps or so. Okay, so here we go. Ooh, that's the B3. We're going to B flat 3. Ooh. Next is A3. Ooh. And let's make a note that as we are singing this, we all have to be singing in the same octave. So, what does that mean? If I'm singing along with a baritone, when I sing this, it's going to sound like it's kind of low, like it doesn't have a whole bunch of like brilliant energy. But if a baritone were singing this pitch, it would sound like, whoa, they're really singing something full and powerful, because it sits in the higher part of a baritone's register. And for me, this note sits in a lower part of my register because I'm a high soprano. So keep that in mind. We're all singing in the same thing. This is A3. Now we're going to A flat 3. This is G3. G flat 3. F3. So this is the place where some people might start to say, it hurts, it feels uncomfortable. It's starting to get really gravelly, like I'm losing the core sound. That's an indication that, oh, probably this is a little low. And if it continues, then we want to go back to that note that was the first one that felt uncomfortable, and go and figure out what the note is a half step above that and mark that as your lowest comfortable note. So for instance, if we're here, this is F3, and I'm like, this doesn't feel good. Then I'd say, if you can totally ask me, say, what is the note above blah, blah, blah. So what is the note above this F? It is an F sharp, or same thing as G flat. So I would say then G flat 3 is my lowest note, because anything beyond that, I'm pushing myself in an uncomfortable and an unhealthy way. All right, so we're continuing. This is F3. Next. I'm going to stop singing because it's not comfortable for me to keep going right now. So this next one is E flat 3. This is going to be for a male voice that is an assigned male voice that is kind of like an average, not super low, not super high, which is usually a baritone. This is going to feel like just kind of smack dab in the middle of your voice. For an assigned female voice, if you're still singing this and it's comfortable, this is probably the lower end of the voice. Maybe not the lowest, but the lower end. All right. Next is D3. Make sure you make notes to yourself. Next is D flat 3. Brian, I'm seeing in the chat, do I need to send out another email because some people were just added?
Yes, if you email it to me, Candace, then I can get it sent out to all of those people.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Let me do that right now. Is it Brian.Williamson?
Just Brian at themarsh.org.
Okay.
Sorry, I have a French fry in my mouth.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. All right, very good, everybody. So I'm going back to D flat, D flat 3 before we step into the second octave. All right, I cannot see you. If you are still singing, put your name in the chat for me. All right. So we're going to keep going. So cool. This is so cool. All right. So this is C2. We're now in, okay, I see you, Susan, in the second octave, just beginning the second octave. Okay, Rachel R says C2 is the end. So we're gonna keep going. Now you can, when we finish this, we're gonna go back and look at that other sheet to see what possibly might you be. All right, so next is B2. Welcome, Joanne. Here we go. B flat, 2. All right, we have a couple of people who recognize C2 is the last. All right, this is A2. Shall I keep going? Just put a Y in the chat if we're continuing. Okay, we're gonna keep going. This is A flat 2. Yay, yay, yay. And when we say we're still singing, I want to make sure that we still feel that the full voice is there. As the assigned male larynx gets lower, the quality of the timbre will change, but you still should have core sound somewhat there. It may start to get a little bit more like that bravado, basso profundo sound, that, but there still should be pitch. So you want to make sure that you still hear pitch clearly in your voice. All right, so this is the A flat 2 going down to G2. And now G flat 2. Shall I keep going, John and Joanne? Okay. Oh, you said no. Is that a yes or is it a no? Or maybe? John. Okay, Kathleen's got her D3. All right, so John, I'm thinking that's an N from you. You missed the first notes. That's okay. We will be heading back up. So, Joanne, are you still singing? Oops, sorry. So I want us to practice moving an octave just so we get the feel of, oh, okay, Joanne's still singing. So Joanne, when you are singing this note, I want you to make sure that you are singing truly in the second octave and not in the third. So the third octave would be here. Ah. I cannot get anywhere close to the second octave. But it would be like going, ah. So just double checking. You're in the third octave. Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to have us all join Joanne at the third octave there. And we can come back to Joanne where I'm going to take the class back up. And so now we're going to figure out what our highest note is. Here's something you want to start paying attention to. There's something called a passaggio, and we have 2 of them, the primo and the secondo, the first and the second. The first one takes us from chest range into middle voice. From middle voice is the second. The second one is from middle voice into the upper range. And so you will feel more prominently, most likely, that change when you're going through the second passaggio. As you enter that higher space in your register, like the higher part of your range. And so things that you might start to feel are, oh, if I don't kind of do some adjustment, my voice is just going to tap out. I won't be able to sing any higher. If you feel that, I want you to, what we call lifting the soft palate, and you're going to do that by feeling like you're going to start a yawn, or you're going to sneeze, or some people like a little, if there's a little tiny robin egg, let's say, in the back of your throat, or a little bitty tangerine in the back of your throat, and you're trying to just keep your throat open around that fruit or the egg, that can also help you lift your soft palate, which will help you access the higher notes in that higher register. Okay, thank you so much, Brian. All right, so this is where we are now. We're moving up by half step. This is G flat 3. This is now G3. A flat 3. This is B flat 3. B3. This is C4. Remember, the octaves on here are one less than it should be. So this is C4. Now, if anyone, especially the assigned male larynx, if you're starting to tap out with you're feeling like can't go any further, and you hear your voice start to flip into this other space where it sounds more like like if I were singing like a soprano, or it could sound like a countertenor. When you hear yourself make that switch, we want to base your range on the notes below that switch. So if I am trying to find out what an assigned male larynx is it a tenor? Is it a countertenor? I'm listening for the notes that are not in falsetto. Falsetto is great. It's not a false place. It's not a fake place, but we can't use it to determine the vocal range. All right, so we are back at this. Let's go to B flat 3. For the female, assigned female voice, it may feel like it's either middle of the voice or it may feel low. For the assigned male larynx, it's either going to feel like it's middle of the voice or starting to get high, and maybe the only way you can sing it is to sing it kind of loudly. That's another indication that you're probably about to flip over into your falsetto. Okay, and here, B3. Now, C4. This is middle C. C sharp 4. D4. D sharp or E flat 4. E4. F4. F sharp 4. G4. If you are an assigned male larynx, and you're still singing comfortably, you're probably a tenor, or you could be a baritone. And if it's feeling really strong and like you have plenty of space to go, then you're like definitely a tenor. Okay, so here we go. Keep going. Oh, the last one we sang was G4. So some of you as assigned female larynxes, you may start to feel that you are entering into a space where it's like mixing, or you may already be in a mix, which is the middle voice. It's a mix of the chest voice, the chest range, and the head range. And as we go higher, start thinking about, am I moving into head voice? We're going through passaggio, some of us, and we're going to enter into head voice soon. All right. This is where soft palate lift is really important. This is A flat 4. A4. A sharp or B flat 4. B4. Now we're entering the fifth octave. So if you've been watching my mouth at all, you'll see that my orifice is opening more. The higher I go, with each octave, it's going to be a significant more amount of opening. And my soft palate is lifted. I feel that space in the back, like a little piece of fruit is back there, and I'm drinking water in, right? If you open your throat to receive water, it's that sensation. So again, this is C5. C sharp 5, D5, E flat 5, E5. I'm assuming that all assigned male larynx have stopped singing. if you are continuing to sing, then make a note. Are you singing in falsetto? I would assume you would be singing in falsetto at this point. And some of you may be able to transition from chest, head into falsetto so seamlessly that it may be difficult to discern. All right, so this is E5. F5. I just thought of something, a setting that I probably have not changed. Let me double check. I don't think I can fix it now. All right. So F sharp 5. G5. A sharp or G flat, or A sharp, or no, G sharp or A flat 5. A5. B flat 5. If you're not singing, that's totally okay. Is anybody else still singing? I'm assuming there's probably a few of you still singing. Give me a Y if you're still singing. Why? Okay? Esther, that's hilarious. Kia, you're in falsetto? Okay, so here's a thing about nomenclature. For female larynx, the female larynx sings when we go into that space that some people call falsetto. It's actually called head voice in the female larynx. Head voice, so we go from middle voice into head voice. And beyond head voice is something called the whistle register, which is like Mariah Carey. It's the Queen of the Night aria. It's that. It's, high. And then for the male larynx, when you go into something, the falsetto is similar to what the whistle register is. All right. So I'm going to go, we're dropping down just a little bit so we're not like forcing ourselves to just jump up way, way high. So we're going to go to G5 again. G sharp, A flat 5. A5. B flat 5. B5. C6. We're now entering the 6th octave. D flat or C sharp 6. Do I need to keep going? Rachel R and Rachel L, you're hilarious. Okay, Angie says, please. Oh, no, this is for you. No. No, ma'am. Angie, are you still singing? All right, here we go. So D flat, that we were just at D flat 6. Now it's D6. E flat 6. E6. I don't know if I have F6. E flat 6, or D flat. Okay. Anybody else? I'm sorry if I'm like totally killing your eardrums. Okay, so I think we've covered everyone. That's all right. Thank you for being here, Susan. Okay, so I'm super curious. Everybody in the chat put lowest note and highest note. Include the octave so it helps me understand. And while you do that, then I'm going to pull up the other document. This is great. And this one, yes. Okay. And oh, wait, is that right? The right one? Yes. Okay. And go out here and say share screen again. All right, here we go. Drum roll. Can't wait to see what you are. All right, so of course we are doing this super fast, and I don't have the benefit of working with you over time to hear not just the range itself, but also the tessitura and where the passaggi lie. So that would also be information that would help us really, really understand the possibilities. But this is a great way to get a cursory look at your range. Okay, so we have Kia. That B2 is your lowest. What's your highest, Kia? Okay, C2 to whoa, Angie. Angie. Okay, C2. You sang a C2. Head voice starts at B4 and is breaky. Lowest C2. So here's C4. I don't know that I actually got down to C2. I'm wondering if it's a C3. Sorry, but I couldn't follow. That's okay, Helen. Dog left. This is hilarious. C5 to D3. Okay, that's wide. Yes. Low is D3 and the F above high C. Oh, Kathleen. Wow. Okay. Pam says B. Pam, is one of these octaves did you maybe do a typo? So your lowest, you have them in the same octave. So I'm guessing one of them is maybe a 3 or something. John says A2 to G4. A2 to G4. All right. Wow. Okay, good. So you're like baritone, John. That's that baritone range. Lois Brenda says G3 to G. Yeah, okay, so you can see where you lie with this sheet here. And then if you made a note to yourself about the places where you made transitions, you might think about within where those transitions lie, what's most comfortable. So as you go from, let's say, maybe middle of your voice into head voice, do you find that the middle of the voice is more comfortable, or do you find that the upper part is more comfortable? That's also going to be an indication, are you a higher voice or a middle voice or a lower voice? All right, so we have 10 minutes. What I can do is, if you want me to just give you some feedback based on this data, you can email me at there and just give me the data that you took note of. And then I will say, well, based on this, and here are a couple of caveats, I'm happy to do that for you. We have 10 minutes. I want to sing something. Oh, you can't see the email? Oh, let me see. Maybe I need to stop sharing screen. Let's see. All right, I'm going to try again. Oh, I think I sent that just to Ashley. That's why you can't see it. There we are. So this is a song that we've done before early on in FitnesSing. But I want to do it because we just did a lot of singing by half step, and we went super low and we went super high. And this song would allow you to explore all of that. It has this octave leap in it. And I'm going to try to go through it really quickly so that those of you who may not have heard it before, you can grab a hold of it. We're going to test our voices again using something as a guide against the keyboard. Yes, okay, so great question, Harveen. So you can do this exercise on your own. So you can take, I'll make sure that I email, which document did I already send you? I sent you the keyboard. So then what I'll also send you is the layout of the ranges. And then you can take a piano app. So I think I use the free piano on my phone, and it shows you the octaves on the keyboard. And you can just use that to figure out what the highest and lowest is. And remember to go with what is comfortable. Don't feel like, well, I'm supposed to sing really high. Like if your voice doesn't sing high, that's okay. We want to know what your voice really does. Okay, let me make sure I'm answering. Paul is asking, what are the parameters on the male baritone? So a lot of times a baritone has a baritone bottom, so somewhere around that G2, sometimes A2, but taps out around FG4. The tenor, on the other hand, would go on and continue maybe to the CD5. And so you, with your G4 on the top and your A2 on the bottom, sounds to me like a baritone. And that would be like baritone and then tenor, baritone. For a while, it wasn't really acknowledged as like a valid voice type, but they're realizing there are so many voices that really lie in that range. So that's a thing, baritone. Great. All right, so I'll see if we can get the song. So the song is Deep River. It's a Negro spiritual. It's one of my favorite genres to pull from. And, it's just like a Brahms song. We, as Americans, we sing Brahms, we sing German Lieder, we sing French chanson, mélodie. We sing these things so everyone can sing the Negro spiritual. I'm going to find a key that's... All right, so I hope that this key will work for everybody. It's going to be low for me, but deep river, my home is over Jordan. Let's sing that together. 1, 2, ready, and deep river, my home is over Jordan. Next line is deep river. I wanna cross over into campground. I wanna cross over into campground. Deep river. Thank you so much, Brian. All right, so let's put those two together. 1, 2, ready, and deep river, my home is over Jordan. Deep river, love. Let's change it to love. I wanna cross over into campground. And so you could say that again. And then the verse goes like this. Oh, don't you want to go to that gospel feast, that promised land, where all is peace. Oh, deep river, I wanna cross over into campground. All right, so we sang the chorus. The verse goes like this. Oh, don't you want to go to that gospel feast? Let's do those two together. 1, 2, ready, and oh, don't you want to go to that gospel feast? Here's the big moment. That promised land where all is peace. So together, that promised land. Ba, ba. 1, 2, ready. That promised land where all is peace. The last line is like before. Oh, deep river love, I wanna cross over into campground. Let's go back to the verse. 1, 2, this is the pitch. Oh, don't you want to go to that gospel feast, that promised land where all is peace? Oh, deep river love, I wanna cross over into campground. All right. So the high note is in this key. We're singing in the key of A flat. The high note is C5. All right, how does that key feel? There are a lot of apps that give you, oh yes, oh great. How many of you felt like that was a good key? Good? Oh, okay. So Cynthia, did you want it to be higher or lower? Higher? Oh, okay, you're putting it in the chat. Deborah, you're saying yes, higher? I know, I'm like, oh, I want to sing higher. Okay, we have 2 minutes. What we're going to do, I'm going to go just a half step higher, and that's okay. For the high note, if you can't sing the high note, find a harmonizing note. Instead of going, that you could say, that promised land. All right, so some of us will sing that promise. All right, we're gonna do the whole thing all together. And if you're comfortable, you can unmute, and we're gonna have a chorus unsynced, just like it was back in the days when the Africans were in the field singing it. All right, deep, this is the first note. 1, 2, ready, and deep river, my home is over Jordan. Deep river love, I wanna cross over into campground. First, oh, don't you want to go? That gospel feast, that promise land where all is peace. Oh, deep river, I wanna cross over in campground. Amazing! So beautiful. Thank you so much. Hey, we got a bravo from Mr. Producer. Thank you so much for joining us today. This was a moment because this was the biggest class we have had yet. So thank you. If you're sharing this with your friends, thank you so much. Please continue to do so. Remember to thank the Marsh. This is all free. Programming every day for free. So thank you to the Marsh. Thank you, Brian, for all the help. I will be communicating with you all via email over the week. And I hope you'll come back and join us next week, same time. We're going to close out the month. I think that's going to be our final Friday of the month. We're going to close out the month with our cleansing of FitnesSing, and then we'll get back to more exercise with our singing. Please send me some ideas for songs that you want to work on. Take care, everybody. I love you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How do I describe my journey with
your mother who takes care of you, who takes you to the doctor when you're sick? Your mother.
Good morning, New York. Buenos dias. It's me. What's up?
We went out for lunch at a sushi place where she tried sushi for the first time and she liked it.
I see that change can happen. I know things can shift and change for good.
I am dizzily dazzled with stars in my eyes.
Same level as I broke my neck. But he's not getting the same return of function I am.
And I don't want any of your smart aleck sex talk that I usually get when I get.
This is beyond the marsh because what you're doing is planting beautiful seeds for artists to grow.